And on the planet.
KO punchers of all times, the two-time heavyweight world champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing 83.6 pounds. Like his opponent, a perfect professional worldwide with tens of millions of media follows, living, training, fighting out of Dorado, Puerto Rico by
The Problem Child.
Jake Paul.
Into the squared circle, the popular media sensation and the undefeated boxer known as Jake Paul.
The baddest man on the planet.
One of the most devastating heavyweight KO punchers of all times, Iron Mike Tyson.
Jake Paul seems pretty relaxed. Okay, because I'm like, you can't run in this.
I know what anyone do. Mike Tyson's out there fighting right now. Yeah. You still got it? Well, there's a double, triple jab with Mike Tyson.
He does.
Referee encouraging them. Two legends left.
Must be a round.
Hostile task. The referee will have to really be on the.
I like a body. That left hook kind of landed.
That was a shot. That was
Right hand, maybe the side of the back, straight fall up.
Oh, right hand of the body. Another hip hop OG. Snoop Dogg. And look at this.
Nice combination.
I'm a little bit
Uppercut from Jake Paul back.
too slow on his feet. Well, he was already set up right there.
That was
Nice 1-2 there. That was a solid 1-2 by.
Ford remains. Oh, just clocked 1 minute rounds.
more so. Willie just doesn't seem comfortable in there. He took a right.
Condición de Mike Tyson, las circunstancias.
Las dos manos de ambos.
Okay, I'll come in the room after.
It came back like nothing. You took it.
Dice, bueno, pero tú lo recibiste y lo aguantaste. Estás en buena condición física porque lo aguantaste, dice Tyson.
I respect that.
Mike, at age
54, you haven't been in the ring for 15 years.
So I was just moving, staying elusive, and the only thing he was kind of landing was that hook, but I just kept my hand up.
You always find time for that, and that goodness and that gift just keeps on giving. And
that we're very proud of Mike's his determination throughout camp. I mean, we all remember Mike Tyson, especially if you guys are our age. And of course, you've been with Billy for 45 years. You remember him as the killer, the menace, and you hit see the pads and you see, you know, just how amazing he is.
An icon in Mike Tyson, who came back and, you know, put on an amazing show. We actually exceeded Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor in terms of commercial establishments that paid to show the fight. So Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, new record holders. And with that, we'll open it up for questions. Every single round.
No, and yeah, that, like what do people say? Like I told everyone what I was going to do is to give him a boxing lesson.
Jake Paul's strategy was to use his youth and endurance against Mike Tyson. But as it turned out, Tyson's timeless ring IQ and explosiveness were enough to keep the young contender on edge the entire match. With every jab, every hook, it felt like we were witnessing Tyson's prime all over again. Paul, who came in full of confidence, quickly realized that standing toe-to-toe with a legend isn't just about strength. It's about heart, timing, and reading the opponent's mind before he even makes his move. At one point, Jake managed to land a clean shot, one that would have rocked any regular fighter. But Tyson, with that trademark iron chin, absorbed it and fired back with a vicious uppercut that had Paul stumbling backward.
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong. You know, you guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and you know, if you don't, I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So I set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money, And he's like, you fucking... So he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks.
The crowd erupted, and for a moment, it seemed like Jake might be in real trouble. However, give credit where it's due. Paul showed resilience, quickly recovering and staying on his feet, refusing to go down easy. Tyson's body shots, though, were something else. You could see Jake wincing every time Mike connected. Those shots were like sledgehammers, reminding everyone that Tyson's power hasn't diminished one bit over the years. Every time Jake tried to come forward, it felt like he was walking into a storm of fists.
Again, in the middle of Florida, and he's like, this fucking asshole says that, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12, and he throws me in the fucking ocean with a bunch of sharks. He was right about that, too. But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old, and he's like, you honestly think this fucking kid's gonna do anything to me? He's not good. He's not gonna fucking knock me out. He's not gonna do this. And you saw him, he tripped when he was walking down the thing. He had a hard time walking up the stairs. He had a knee brace on, and Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him. He made a ton of money, and I know people are mad. You stayed home on a Saturday night, but you didn't pay for it. You know what I mean? And, Mike, this is what Mike Tyson, when Mike Tyson shows up, everybody makes money. Jake Paul is fucking, I don't have to tell you guys. You guys know. Mike Tyson is the A++++ side of that thing, and he was right. Jake Paul couldn't do shit to him. So he was right, and I was wrong.
When you say the Tom John,
Tyson's famous peekaboo style was on full display, ducking, weaving, and coming up with those explosive punches that have floored countless opponents over the decades. As the rounds went on, Jake started to rely more on his movement, trying to tire Tyson out. But even at his age, Mike showed that his conditioning was still impressive. The man was relentless, pressing forward, throwing combinations that kept Jake on the back foot.
Did you enjoy watching most of that fight? It was hard to watch, but it was always going to be like that. But it doesn't have to be. They're not making this for me. Look how many people turned up. Look how many people tuned in. So I can't knock it. It's just not for me. And that's not disrespectful. I love boxing. I don't want to see Mike Tyson stuck in quicksand. And he showed unbelievable heart, by the way. No one wants to see that happening to Mike Tyson.
Out of the 30 seconds that you saw,
there was a moment in the fourth round where it looked like Jake was about to turn the tide, landing a couple of solid jabs that seemed to catch Tyson off guard. Yet, the veteran adjusted quickly, slipping punches and countering with pinpoint accuracy. But make no mistake, Paul wasn't just trying to survive in there. He was genuinely aiming to knock Tyson out. It's just that every time he tried to mount an offense, Mike's experience would shine through. Tyson has this way of luring opponents into a false sense of security, only to unleash a sudden flurry when they least expect it. And that's exactly what happened in the sixth round, where a vicious left hook from Mike nearly sent Paul to the canvas.
I did, yeah. I thought, Mike's a little bit older. He had a problem. They had to push back the first fight because, he had like a stroke on a plane or something like that.
Yeah,
so, I was just scared. I didn't want to see Mike get hurt. I'm happy he's walking out of that ring and he's healthy tonight. So, super happy. Everything went well, and it was a spectacle. All the fans enjoyed the show.
You want to fight Jake Paul?
Yeah, hell yeah. I'd love to fight him. He's talked a lot of shit about me in the past. I'd love to see him back it up. For sure, I'm definitely.
Their time is unbeaten for a reason, everybody.
The only thing that kept Jake standing was sheer willpower. Let's not forget the psychological warfare Tyson brings into the ring. His eyes never left Jake, constantly reading every twitch and flinch. It's like he's always 3 steps ahead, knowing exactly what you're going to do before you even decide on it yourself. Jake tried to show no fear, but you could see it in his eyes. He knew he was up against a predator. By the 8th round, both fighters were showing signs of exhaustion, but Tyson's relentless pressure never let up. Jake's corner was shouting instructions, urging him to keep his guard up, but the relentless assault from Tyson was becoming too much.
For me, and to prove to young kids what is possible when you really set your mind to something, and that's more so what I'm focused on. So it's definitely not as exciting, and there's not as much glitz and glamour around it anymore. And I would say more so the hardest camp, just sparring 300-pound guys back to back and doing the jogs, weighing 220 pounds all the miles, all the work at the track is a lot more difficult than running around weighing 205 pounds. So this is definitely the hardest.
Time Paul tried to clinch and slow down the pace, Mike would create just enough space to unload a quick combination to the body, draining whatever energy Jake had left. In the final round, the atmosphere was electric. The fans were on their feet, screaming for more as both men went all out. Jake, in a last-ditch effort, tried to land a knockout punch, swinging wildly. But Tyson, ever the tactician, dodged and countered with a brutal right hand that nearly ended the fight right there. Somehow, Jake stayed standing, though visibly dazed, and managed to survive until the final bell. When the scorecards were read, it was a unanimous decision in favor of Mike Tyson. But you've got to give it to Jake Paul. He showed heart, he showed grit, and he proved that he's not just some YouTuber trying to play boxer. He may have lost the fight, but he gained a lot of respect from fans and fighters alike. The question now is, what's next for both of them?